I came into office at a time of great economic and international instability. Families and businesses were worried about how to pay their bills. Putin's illegal war in Ukraine threatens the security of our whole continent, and our country has been held back for too long by low economic growth. I was elected by the Conservative Party with a mandate to change this. We delivered on energy bills and on cutting national insurance. And we set out a vision for a low-tax, high-growth economy that would take advantage of the freedoms of Brexit. I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party. This morning I met the chairman of the 1922 committee, Sir Graham Brady. We've agreed that there will be a leadership election to be completed within the next week. This will ensure that we remain on a path to deliver our fiscal plans and maintain our country's economic stability and national security. I will remain as Prime Minister until a successor has been chosen. Thank you.
No Truss, she resigned. London News Today. British Prime Minister Liz Truss announced her resignation Thursday after 6 turbulent, hot potato-type weeks in office, making her one of the shortest-serving prime ministers in British history. This is the most chaotic moment in British politics in the post-war era history. We're shocked with the speed of government's unraveling. It was a humbling transfer of power. No one is sure what direction Britain will take now. In a foreign or economic policy, Truss said a prime minister will be selected by her Conservative Party in the coming week. But now the Tory party is bitterly divided by centrist and right-wing factions, and there is no clear consensus candidate to take over. I cannot deliver the mandate for which I have been elected by the Conservative Party. I spoke to the King and notified him that I was resigning, she said in front of her residence at Downing Street. She also said there would be a leadership election to replace her, to be completed within the next week. She said that she would remain as Prime Minister until a successor has been chosen. On Thursday morning, at least 16 of Truss's own lawmakers went on record calling for her resignation, following a chaotic and confusing 24 hours, which saw claims of bullying in Parliament and the resignation of Home Secretary, and may likely have been the final straw for the party. So let's see all this in real time. What has occurred? To get this decision with direct info, editor, roll clip, fair use.
All right, we've been keeping a close eye on what's going on in Britain right now, particularly Liz Truss, the Prime Minister of all about a month in power, and already they're calling for her head. She's under enormous pressure after a budget failed and an attempt to cut taxes failed as well among those in her own party, and even the markets were rebelling. Think of our markets doing the same here in the face of tax cuts promised. It would be an anomaly, to put it mildly, but it is not an alien concept. Piers Morgan is here right now. Piers Morgan Uncensored, the host. A crackerjack writer and thinker. I love the way he communicates because it gets through my thick skull. Good to see you, Piers. We were talking at the break. I know this is unusual, so it's my view here, but maybe a warning for conservatives who are already, chomping at the bit to take over the House, maybe the Senate, that they're going to cut taxes, that they're going to do a lot of things. But a reminder, maybe on Liz Truss, you better have that all ironed out and how you're going to pay for it before you introduce it, right?
Well, the most startling and disturbing and ultimately unsuccessful thing that she said when she announced this mini budget, very much only been in power several weeks, right, was she said she hadn't done the groundwork when it all fell in her face. It was like, how could you not do the groundwork as a new Prime Minister in a financial crisis?
Well, she blamed it on the Chancellor of the Exchequer, who she forced out, right?
Which was chucking him under the bus to save her own skin, let's be clear, because Kwasi Kwarteng and her were the only two, it turned out, who did know what they were about to do. Even the Cabinet were not informed or consulted about what they were planning. And the truth is, they came out with all this stuff. It was like, a female Santa Claus saying, here you go, everybody, tax cuts across the board, you're all going to have this cut, this cut, this cut. She lifted the cap on bankers' bonuses. She didn't set any windfall taxes against energy companies. All of it was designed to make everyone feel great. But of course, what it really did was it freaked the markets out because there was no sense that they'd done any planning for this. There was no indication of how they would fund these enormous tax cuts.
But normally markets would welcome a cut in their taxes.
Well,
right?
they would, but right to the point when they realized they didn't have the money to do any of this. So now we're in the unique position where it's all been reversed within 3 weeks, all of it. So the new chancellor's come in, Jeremy Hunt, who is the complete opposite economically, really, from Liz Truss. He's reversed everything. He now has all the power. The markets have kind of stabilized, but they're really waiting to see, even now, given the damage that she has done with this budget to the stability economically of the country, it's believed they now need to find another 20 billion just to repair the damage of what they've done.
Is she toast then? How would you
I think, I mean, I love my toast, and I would say she is toast with a fresh spread of butter and a dollop of Marmite, because I don't see any way that she survives this. Her credibility has been completely destroyed at a speed I've never seen for any prime minister or any world leader in such a short space of time.
The next Maggie Thatcher.
Here's the problem with that. She said repeatedly that she was Thatcherite in her thinking. When Margaret Thatcher came to power, she actually inherited quite a rough economy. She didn't cut taxes. She actually put a number of taxes up. She actually did do a windfall tax against energy companies. By doing all that, she managed to cool inflation and stabilise the British economy. When it was stabilised from a position of strength, then she slashed income tax and became known as the great tax cutter. But Thatcher always trod very carefully, step by step, getting the economy to a place where you could be bold. This wasn't bold. This was casino politics. It was reckless. It was disgraceful. And honestly, I've never seen anything quite like this. I would be staggered if she lasts a week.
There's major upheaval in the UK. It happened minutes ago. The brand new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, resigning only 6 weeks into her term. If you had that on your bingo card, you're a winner today. Wow, good morning.
Some people did.
A couple people may have had that, right, based on some of the decisions she made. I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. Morning, Dana.
Good morning. I'm Dana Perino. This is America's Newsroom. The Prime Minister making the announcement just moments ago outside 10 Downing Street. This after she failed to overcome a flurry of criticism from her own party. Alex Hogan is following all of this from London. Hi, Alex.
Good morning. So this has been a very contentious day here in London after a contentious 2 months of British Prime Minister Liz Truss serve and time in office. But she announced her resignation just earlier this morning. Now, this comes after a shaky day yesterday at Downing Street when yet another member of her government left the job. Home Secretary Suella Braverman resigned. She was a popular figure in the Conservative Party. Now, she has been replaced by Grant Shapps. He's not only been a loud critic of Truss, but also a supporter of Rishi Sunak, who was the former PM candidate who lost to Truss. Well, last night, after taking on that role, he quickly addressed the need to get to work. Truss had only served for 45 days. She is the briefest serving PM in UK history. The economic turmoil that we've seen in these last 2 months only also led to the ousting of her Treasury chief. And she had announced some widespread tax cuts and spending plans that were announced less than a month ago, and all of that has been scrapped. Now, her approval rating had been excruciatingly low. It's worth noting that food and energy prices in this country are soaring. Inflation here is the highest it has been in 40 years. So this bombshell announcement today, coming on the heels of yet another resignation last night, announcing she will leave the job. She has talked to the king, formally announcing her resignation. She says next week there will be a vote of potentially who will take her place. And she says until that time, Bill and Dana, she will continue to serve as PM. But again, I cannot state just how big of a decision this was and how monumental of a moment this is after seeing so much change here in England with not only the death of the Queen, a new king. This is the second prime minister that we've seen in 2 months. So much change and so much economic instability. It really is a time of economic turmoil. And again, the instability is the one thing here in England that cannot be stated enough.
And they're facing a very difficult winter, possibly because of the energy situation there.
Hey guys, it's Jose, your regular Joe Blow again, keeping an eye out and my ears open, and I am here to talk about the catastrophe currently occurring in the UK. Guys, that a prime minister is resigning in between terms, not even finishing out their term, From Boris Johnson's 2-year tenure to now Liz Truss with only 44 days in office. This is crazy. They are playing musical chairs combined with hot potato, and I guess the music is still going, but the economic disaster is about to pop in someone's hand, and it's closer than I can expect. But you guys do your research, and I'll continue to keep an eye out to this really bad situation brewing, the next bubble pop, because when there's pop, the next bubble to pop will be the U.S. So guys, prepare. This definitely should not surprise anyone. We have been awake and aware of all this circus and circumstance brought to us. God bless all of you and your families and the families in the UK, guys. Thank you for the support. As always, stay free.
It ain't hard to tell. I excel, then prevail.